Jenny-Jaymes and our sidekick, Christian Cano, partner in crime, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jen's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. This is Two Queers in a Truck, and this is the whole world laughing at Donald Trump.
Oh.
Yes, Donald Trump. This is why I got a soundtrack of laughing. Because the whole world is smiling right now. That jackass has been doing this hijinks for decades, and I'm glad to see a $5 million price tag come with it. But this is Two Queers in a Truck. This is May 17th, and I have a very happy little plan today. I can just tell you. Pretty James Gunn along with Christian Cano. But music today, I felt like some laughter. I think we need some laughter after all these Republican hijinks that honestly worsened when he came into the national limelight, where there was, racism against Asian people and Latinx and Hispanic people, and all the xenophobic comments he's made, and all the homophobic stuff and transphobic stuff that they've been doing the last 7-8 years. And it really got a big push. I mean, Republicans have always been problematic for a long time, but he's definitely amplified it. So it's good to see that fuckface and sexual predator, actually get what he has coming. And I hope more women step forward, just like she did, just like E. Carol Jean did, and say enough is enough with these jackasses, and start doing what Dominion did and make them pay. If you're going to make wild accusations and illegal accusations of defamation of character, defamation of somebody's business, you fuck around. Now it's time for them to find out.
Yep.
It's time for them to find out. And nothing made me happier, and that is topic one for today's show, is that, I think we're in an age of accountability. I think we've got younger generations that want to hold the problematic people in our society, the conservatives in our society, that have raped and pillaged this country since the beginning, even before the country began, with horrible things like slavery and racism and just all this crap that they've been doing. And it's time. It's beyond time. We shouldn't tolerate this idiot in 2016. And nothing can make me happier than to see this horse's ass have to come up, shell up. And you can't file bankruptcy and get away from the $5 million judgment. So he has to pay it, or the judge will seize properties and they'll sell it off. I'd love to see him lose Mar-a-Lago. I think I'd almost go to church if that happened. And of course, in usual, he's going to blame and deflect, and he got mad at the judge, and so the judge is biased, and he was a Clinton appointee, so he didn't get a fair trial, and even though there was 2 MAGAs on the jury, and they both voted yes to give E. Jean Carroll the judgment. So it was a unanimous jury vote of 9 jurors, and it's just fabulous. I don't know how you feel about it, but there's memes floating around with a picture of her saying I grabbed him by the wallet. It's just, I think
that's funny.
It's Christmas in May. What a gift. And, of course, it's not a criminal trial, so he's not going to, get convicted on anything as far as jail time or anything. But I almost like the fact that this one, before he goes to prison on other charges, I'm hoping that these other women will step forward and start, like all the beauty contest contestants that were mostly minors that he sexually harassed. There's a list of at least 30 women that over his sleazy, useless existence have made accusation very similar to Eugene Carroll's accusation. He has a pattern. He's admitted it himself that he does what he wants and takes what he wants when it concerns women. And so, I mean, he's a self-admitted sexual predator. He's a predator. And especially from the family values and personal responsibility party, it's just amazing how even Republican women still support this jackass. The BBC, British Broadcasting Network, did a poll of Republican women, and almost universally, they even interviewed some of them, almost all of them said, well, this is terrible for his presidential run in 2024. And I'm like, oh, it didn't concern you that he's a sexual predator and he assaulted a woman. Like, that doesn't, this enabler culture amongst conservative men and with these conservative women just rubber stamping this kind of crap, just, to me, is unreal. This is why we still have the problems we have, in our society. They'll just stand by him, and I'll still vote for him. I'm like, yeah, you're the problem.
But Jenny, I know you and I talk about this a lot, but I think it just highlights, once again, it highlights just almost the dysfunction of many of these people, that they are so without real heroes and in their lives, including their own family members, that they would actually support the least. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, do you not have anyone else to admire?
That's so bizarre, because there is. To fixate on this, it's like a death cult.
Yeah.
These death cults with these charismatic sleazebags that get people to do just stupid stuff and stuff that, and I do agree with you. They're mentally, they're very broken. They're very sick individuals to stand by somebody that we all know. He's admitted before, in the Billy Bush thing. This guy is bragged that he's got these people so wrapped he could shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square and he would never get arrested. This guy knows, he expects to get away with it. That's the thing, is he has an expectation that he can do what he wants when he wants. And that's very scary to ever consider in the Republican Party, the fact that they're complicit with a sexual predator being their front runner, and does not have the cojones to sit this guy down and say, dude, we love you. We really do. But sit the fuck down. You're not running. You can't run. You're going to destroy the party. What's left of it, what monicum of decency we have, is going out the window because, dude, you're a convicted sexual predator now. You've just lost a $5 million judgment, a historic $5 million judgment. You're legally a shitbag. We can't have you as the front runner. So right now, the front runner of the Republican presidential nomination is a sexual predator. Not that the Republican Party isn't full of sexual predators, because they do. Anonymous is releasing a list every day of convicted and on trial Republican sexual predators. They're going to do 50 days of it, and they're on day 13, and they're literally it's a massive list. It's hilarious.
Wow.
But speaking of Anonymous, our second topic is Anonymous is also shedding light on Republicans that have a lack of ethics. So they released a list of the senators that blocked SCOTUS ethics reform, that also took money from the SCOTUS owner, that he owns, Clarence Thomas, Harlan
Crow.
and Cornyn, Grassley, Cotton, Lady Cruz, Lady Lindsay, Mike Lee, our Tom Tillis, Kennedy, and Marsha Blackburn all took money from Harlan Crow right before the vote in the Senate that they ended up blocking the SCOTUS ethics reform bill just recently. Imagine that. They got a big old check. The biggest one went, I believe, to John Cornyn for about $200,000, but they all got like 20,000 there, 50,000 there, amazingly. So he owns those senators as well. So I guess, he paid a lot for Clarence Thomas. He's shelled out, bought his mom a house in South Carolina, and paid for tuition for his adopted son, and just a laundry list of amazing vacations. I wish I would have went to law school and become a Supreme Court justice, because what a fucking benefits package. Wine Dined in 69 by Lindsey Graham. It's just it's kind of crazy. It's bizarre when you think about it. So we've got this Supreme Court that we've had since the birth of our country, but we've never had any ethics bills passed to really guide or governance it. It's kind of bizarre that they get appointed for life and they have no ethics to go by. And I don't know if, I don't know how that happened, how we let that slip through the cracks. But one, nobody should be up on the Supreme Court for a lifetime, because you see what it's turned into. You look at Clarence Thomas, for example. There's no way he should have been up on this court since he was appointed by Papa Bush. This dude's outlasted how many presidents? He got appointed by 41, and we're now on 46. That's too long. I think, I would want to put anybody where he served more than one generation. Like we've had part of one generation and all of another generation become adults since he's been on the bench, making decisions for people that are turning 18 now, and he's now 100 years old, and making decisions for people that he's so completely disconnected with. That's a problem. To me, one, I think there should be age limits on the SCOTUS. They shouldn't be above a certain age. I think, two, anything longer than about 6 years, and they're like hot garbage. You just need to just rotate them in like tires. Like I think 6 years is long enough for anybody in any office. I think we keep these people, and I'm talking about all political offices. I think keeping people in too long gets them. We see it locally with the Board of County Commissioners. You see some of those people who have served a long time. They become stupider as the longer they're in office. I don't know about you, but it seems like politicians that stay in, or 89-year-old Chuck Grassley just got reelected to another 6-year term. He will be 95 at the end of his next term. And they give Biden hell because he's 79. And I'm like, do you see, Chuck Grassley, that was a Republican, and it just, it's very bizarre to see these people in office this long. I mean, Lindsey Graham's pretty much been in office my entire adult life. And I hardly remember a Congress without Lady Lindsey Graham in it. That's kind of bizarre.
I mean, that is the one thing that I would agree with libertarians. They're really big on term limits. And I do believe that. I do believe that there has to be term limits for all the branches. And that is the one thing that I completely agree with them. So
yeah, and I don't think it's just a libertarian thing. I think a lot of Democrats believe in term limits. I just don't think it's the Democrats that are in charge. But I know younger generations want to see term limits. I think that term limits also is a great way of not having to address campaign finance reform. Because if you're only in for a certain amount of time, you can't get those deep connections to groups that are going to put out bribe money. If you're limited to 4 to 6 years, you can only become so corrupt. And then you're out anyway. So it's like it's like trash pickup, scheduled trash pickup. We just come in, we take a person like Lindsey Graham, we stuff him in a dumpster, and you just carry him away. And the trash takes itself out. But anyway, we're up against our first break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Careers in a Truck. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Careers in a Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye-bye. Happy time. And we are back. Well, speaking of term limits and trash, Pence suckles up to Trump. Tried to downplay Predator Trump's loss and say, I never saw Trump sexually harass anybody while we worked together, type thing. And I'm like,
no, Jenny, to be fair, he said, Mother and I never saw Trump.
Well, yeah. Why? I mean, yeah, because she has that cattle prod up Pence's ass. It's like, and
mother.
What a creepy fucking Norman Bates son of a bitch is Pence. Like, what a waste of.
That's what I was thinking.
What a waste of a human being. And I'm going, same dude that he's sucking up to is the same dude that rallied thousands of inbred idiot Republicans to storm the Capitol and wanting to hang him. They wanted to hang Mike Pence. And where did that come from? That came from Trump. Because Trump couldn't hornswoggle him into illegally swapping out electors. So he's like, okay, well, you're the vice president and the president of the Senate. If you won't do that for me, I'll just send a mob and, hey, you guys build a little fucking lynching post over there and let's go hang Mike Pence. And I mean, literally was chanting that they were going to hang Mike Pence. And now he's up there with his knee pads on again. I'm like, dude, you claim to be a Christian. He clearly got convicted of sexual assault and defamation. The cognitive distance and disassociation that you have to sit there and just immediately, like the same day, get up there and just suckle up, just like a little suckling, just like a little piglet, just going, just suckling up to friggin' Trump is just unreal. It's just it to me is typical Republican behavior. I mean, you got to be in a cult. I don't know. I think it's so bizarre. It just shows that Pence has no spine whatsoever. Which, I mean, we already do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not shocking that Pence is that weak. And here's what I think about Mike Pence.
What was that? Are those farts?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's
what have we turned into?
iTunes, and I wanted some funny noises. Well, I originally was looking up a laugh track to start today's show with people just laughing. And then I found that then there was a whole listing of different albums with sound effects and noises and stuff like that. So I went on a download because I have unlimited downloads with the iTunes store. So I literally I downloaded an album that has 300 different sound effects like this.
I can't hear that. You got to put it by your. No, you got to put it by your earplug, your pods.
Oh, I don't have my AirPods in.
Oh, okay, all right.
It probably just isn't loud enough.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
But it's pretty funny. But I don't know what you think about Mike Pence. I mean, obviously we're not Republicans, so we're not gonna like him anyway. But he's kind of hard to like.
I know he has like an evangelical kind of like following, like a Christian nationalist kind of following. And I know they're still very loyal to him. And I realize that he is like their guy, which is like Ted Cruz has his following, which is not really evangelical. It's just more Bible bigot kind of following. And so they all have kind of like their own little followings and their own little like cliques. To me, the great thing is they're so dysfunctional right now. And as a Democrat, it is nice to see the dysfunction because we have to make sure that we don't lose sight of they will eventually get together, because at the end of the day, they're willing to put their morals and ethics aside just to win. That's really their goal. Their goal is, the goal is to beat whatever. And so even though I know that it is dysfunctional, DeSantis and Trump and all of them fighting, they're going to be fighting. At the end of the day, they're all going to gather around whoever their nominee is, they're going to vote. And so do I think we're going to beat him in 2024? Yes. However, we can't lose sight of we can't keep playing like us. We have to play like them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they're gonna ridicule Biden for being old or whatever happens. You know what? We're smarter than they are. We got to play. Hey, you know what? We may be old, but we're not Trump.
Yeah, there's only a couple years difference between Biden and Trump. People act like Trump's like 55 years old or something. I mean, I think they're 2.5 years apart or whatever. And Biden's in way better physical shape. Trump looks like a sack of mashed potatoes stuffed in a burlap sack with cow poop piled on top. It's not like Trump's gonna. I mean, he's in shape if you count round. I mean, the dude hasn't done a sit-up ever.
Yeah, he's in shape if you count. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Biden rides 10, 20 miles a day on his Peloton and his bicycle and shit. I'm like, Trump couldn't get on a bicycle. It'd probably pop the friggin' tires. I don't even know how they go, oh, he's so fit. And I'm like, fit for what? A hot dog eating contest? You know, I mean, the dude probably weighs twice as much as he did when he won the presidency in 2016, and so he's developed 7 years of gelatinous more fat. He's got a hairpiece that looks like a dead badger on his head, and he's orange. I mean, and rants and raves online like he's got a significant mental illness. Like you, and I'm not making fun of people with mental illness, but I just don't want them to be president of the United States.
That's exactly correct.
I can love my neighbors with mental illness. My ex-wife has severe mental illness, actually diagnosed, and I know what it feels like to live with somebody with that, and what the struggles that she goes through. But I would never elect her to an office.
But you know what, Jenny, what you just said is exactly, I think, what we have been trying to figure out for the last 6 years since Trump got into the limelight, and even before that.
Right.
We all have Marjorie Taylor Greenes, Trumps, DeSantis's in our lives and in our families. We all know people like that. And we can be nice to them. We can drink with them. We can be friendly. We can be family members. 100%. But I don't want them to be president. And I don't want them to hold office. And that's the difference, I think, between normal people and MAGA people.
And Republicans.
Normal people, I mean, we want...
Republicans have showed no shame. I mean, let's be real. Republicans rallied behind Nixon, even though he was a criminal. They rallied behind Reagan. Both showed stages of dementia his entire presidency, and was a criminal. Bush 1, Bush 2, definite criminals. Like they love sociopaths to be president and in their party. This isn't a new phenomenon. It's just they've gotten louder and stupider. Like, I guess their criminality was a little bit more mastermind and a little bit sneakier before. And now they're just openly racist and stupid and just run their mouths to the point where you have no doubt, at least with Reagan, he was a piece of shit, but he kind of kept a lid on it. Or whoever wrote his speeches, I think he was barely drooling by 1984. You know, Bush was pretty much running the country. I mean, you can look at that 84 debate and you can tell his responses were so canned, even his funny line in the second debate about, Mondale, won't make fun of your youth and experience if you won't, make fun of my old age and senility. I mean, clearly that was a written line. That was because he knew his age was going to come up, because the first debate, the dude looked like he needed some caffeine and a cattle prod stuck up his ass. Like, he was so lost. And so, but I think that was the true Reagan. And I think they popped him up on amphetamines in the second debate. They got him some cue cards and said, bitch, just read these. When they ask this, you read this. And they just got, like, Weekend at Bernie's, they just kind of propped him up and said, you still got to be president. And then this barely made any public appearances the next 4 years. And, and every one of them was a very, like, in the last 2 years, when he was completely done. And this is the Republican Party. They don't give a shit about ethics or if Reagan was fit to be in office anymore. They want to win and control power at all costs. And they don't give two shits about fitness. They don't care two shits on whether somebody's fit or ethical to be in office. They just want power. And I completely missed, just real quick, the super racist HB 20 setting up the Gunn squad in Texas got defeated yesterday, which would be which was they basically appoint a special squad of people for border protection.
Okay.
Even though these people aren't going to be stationed at the border, they're going to be stationed all over Texas, harassing basically people that have brownish skin and look Hispanic.
Yeah.
And this was the goon squad there. But they've slipped it into another bill, but they postponed it. And if it doesn't get, I think on the floor by Thursday, it's missed the deadline and it won't go through. But the Senate killed it yesterday. Kudos to the Texas Senate for having at least some ethics or brains. Because it's an insanely bad idea to create a goon squad that can just check people's citizenship. Because these are going to probably be specially appointed like Proud Boys and redneck hillbillies that are probably insanely racist themselves. Maybe even a few Hispanics that are racist as well. I mean, it's not like there isn't.
And there are some. They're not just some.
And they're actually worse. Look at the Proud Boys, Enrique Del Toro or whatever his name is. That he's got 14 years in prison coming up. So hope he rots in jail. But we're up against our last break, and we'll be back with some more Two Queers in a Truck.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching us on Two Queers in a Truck. Don't forget, you can watch us anytime at your leisure on our video podcast platforms like Facebook and YouTube. But you can also listen to us, either this show or any of our past shows, on our audio podcast platforms like Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and all of the other ones. So once again, thank you for watching Two Queers in a Truck. I hope you enjoy our show.
But yeah, what a bunch of chuckle fucks. I mean, what a terrible idea. Amongst all the terrible ideas that have been coming out of Texas this legislature session, I'm pretty sure creating some kind of crazy goon squad, brown shirt, Nazi stormtrooper squad to go check citizenship on people in random, not only is unconstitutional, legal, because that's a federal job to protect our national borders. But there's all kinds of like due process and, all these crazy things that we said this is why we broke away from the British, is they were doing this kind of stuff. And now Republicans are wanting to install that people can just, governmental officials appointed with no training, with no requirement of training, no search warrants, no judge orders. You just go around just fucking showing up at churches and schools and gathering places, and they see a big old Hispanic family celebrating in the park, some kind of family reunion, and just start harassing them. And can you imagine, because your family's mostly in Texas, most of your family gatherings are in Texas. Can you imagine a goon squad coming up to your family, heavily armed with AR-15s, going, y'all need to shit out some papers or else. I mean, what do you react? I mean, if they got body armor on and AR-15s, I don't care how calm or steely somebody is. You got all these unarmed civilians just having a family reunion or whatever, and they roll up on your ass. I think it would cause some panic. I think it would cause some issues. I don't think it's the smartest fucking thing to do. And I think it's just wrong. But anyways, topic number 5 is a little bit more fun. Katara, a.k.a. George Santos, got indicted on federal charges. They haven't listed the specific ones, but it's relating to his campaign and allegations of fraud. And there's so many stories that circulate about George Santos, and I'm not defending him when I say this. I don't know how much of this is actionable, and I don't know how much of this is true, but clearly something was resonating with the Department of Justice, because it's relating to how he ran his campaign, fraudulent filings, and I think it has something to do with fundraising as well. And of course, George Santos is a pathological liar. I mean, so we all know that. In fact, we drew the comparison between the Saturday Night Live character, the pathological liar. They literally just lies about everything because he kind of looks like that character a little bit. Like he looks like the gay Latino version of that. But dude just he can't. But he goes back to the subject we were talking about earlier. He's not fit for office. Mm-hmm. Even Republicans, even New York Republicans, are saying, "Dude, you need to step down. You're upsetting the apple cart. You're going to overturn the apple cart for us, and you're making this all look bad." And
do you think he was surprised by this charge?
Oh, I think he's like every Republican. He doesn't expect to be held accountable. I think he's an arrogant, stupid human being, and I don't think he thought for a moment he was actually going to get charged. Now, here's the sad part. Unless it has something to do with violating the 14th Amendment, he can't. Even if he gets convicted, he doesn't get removed from office.
Yeah, as long as it's not a felony. I don't know what they charged him with because they won't really say that until they release the charges, right? I mean, he has to show up in front of court and then they unseal the actual charges. So it could be for campaign financing. It could be for check writing. It could be. I mean, we don't actually know yet because. Right. My understanding is that when he goes in front of the judge, which should be today, which we tape this on May 10th, but it doesn't drop till May 17th. But on May 10th, he's supposed to go in front of the judge, and that's when they unseal it. So, but the impression I got, Jen, the only reason I'm saying that is because the last 3 weeks he's been real sassy on Twitter. Getting into the fight with that former Republican guy. And then, just saying all kinds of stuff about fashion and all, whatever. It was almost as if there was someone who thought, oh, I haven't heard anything yet. I must be okay. You know what I mean? It was just, it was just, you would think he would shut up.
Well, I mean, that's what somebody with ethics.
Exactly. Yeah.
This decent behavior would do. Clearly, he doesn't fit in that category, nor does most Republicans. Like 99% of them. I mean, they have shed the idea that they have to even seem sane anymore. They're just in their phase of the party because their party's dying. Their political party movement is dying. They're literally at the hold my beer, watch this phase, which is one of the last phases. It's kind of like in 1945, when the Russian army and the American forces were closing in on Berlin. The German Nazi party was like, surrendering left and right, going, kind of deal. I'll show you everything. I'll give you all kinds of intel and secrets and things of that nature. Just don't kill me. We're kind of at that phase where a lot of them are just saying whatever they need to say. If they think it'll defend their party, they'll say crazy, make wild accusations. If they think they need to turn on each other, they will. You see people turning on Trump all the time. You got Trump and DeSantis going at each other left and right because DeSantis wants to be the front runner so bad he can't stand it. And for some reason now a sexual predator / crook that has already been indicted on some significant charges has already been convicted of defamation and sexual assault is still the front runner. And so the Republican Party's got a serious image problem. And it's a lot worse than they think it has. And so, they're going to say crazy shit. Big old Queen Katara, aka George Santos, is going to try to puff themselves up. You just watch after they read the charges today. He's going to come out of court be the big old queen that he is. He's
Mhm.
going to go, bitch, please, and snap his fingers. And you're gonna see the big old flaming queen that is George Santos. And he's going to, or whatever the fuck his name is. He's got about 19 DeVolder, AKA, I mean,
Yeah.
he's got more aliases than a CIA agent. Like the dude is, you talk about somebody that even Republicans are taunting. He's already been removed off all committees because of this. Even Kevin McCarthy, that has the spine of a jellyfish, is saying, probably need to do something about it. I mean, that's crazy because Kevin McCarthy can't stand up to anybody, except to ethics. But anyway, we're well into the last section, but this is a short section. Today or tonight, the beginning of the Charlotte Pride Film Festival begins. And it is, tonight will be the opening night. It will be a showcase of short films that I'm on the film committee, and the film festival, if you live in the greater Charlotte area or close enough to drive, and we still have tickets available, which you can find them online on all of our social media platforms and our website.
Just wrote me a reminder.
And you can buy tickets in advance, even though if you're seeing this for the first time on May 17th, then clearly, 2 in advance. But it runs from today, Wednesday, May 17th, and goes all the way through Sunday. So it's a 5-day event. The opening night is the short film format. And then we have a nice smattering of different identities and different types of feature-length films starting Thursday and playing every night. And on Saturday and Sunday, we have multiple features those nights and a double feature on Friday night. And so you could look at the schedule and select the films, and there's descriptions online of that. And it's something I've been involved with since 2019, both virtual during the pandemic and in real time in 2019 last year. We made our full official comeback and did a full in-person deal. And this is a full film festival again this year. And I'm super excited. It's kind of I call it the unofficial start to Pride season, not only locally, but we're getting to that summery, Pridey, but by the time this, when you're seeing this, we're only 2 weeks from June, which is official International Pride Month. So I'm even wearing my Charlotte Pride t-shirt. I'll down if you can see this.
Oh, nice. Is that this year's shirt, or is that just
this is probably
last year's?
I think this was one of the pandemic shirts.
Okay, because I like that one. Yeah.
I think it was 2021's.
Okay.
And of course, we planned it. We started to set dates, and then we rescheduled.
And then the pandemic happened. Yeah.
I think we rescheduled it like 19 different times.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a game of whack-a-mole while we were trying to hit the little mole. We were trying to hit a date or a window of time when we could do little pop-up engagements. And it just never worked out. COVID was still too rough. Last year, obviously, we had a record crowd. We had 270,000 people over that weekend. We anticipate the same, if not more. We may see a lot of people from Florida, depending on whether they can have their Pride events or not. Depending on court cases and stuff, Florida may not have a Pride season this year, and so these type of events are even more important to say we're here, we're queer, and have public representation. And I love this film festival. It is the thing that I most engage with and volunteer for Charlotte Pride still. And I encourage everybody that would enjoy film to come on out and show your support not only for Charlotte Pride, but to support a film festival that definitely is needed in these times. So with that is the end of the show.
I got it. How's that?
That's pretty funny. But this is Two Queers in a Truck. We'll see y'all next week. Bye, Boo.
Bye, Boo.
Hey, y'all, thanks for watching Two Queers in a Truck. We'll be back with some more craziness and queerness. Bye, Boo.
Bye, Boo.
It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Hey,
That was